All right, top five Raiders. The only requirement was that you played roughly 500 snaps or more, and also there's no positional value involved. It's just straight up who the best players on the team are. At number five, we have Dylan Parham. He's really good in the run game, and he's a little bit undersized, so I think that's even more impressive that he's so good as a run blocker. He's not to the extent that Aaron Brewer is for the Dolphins, but he kind of reminds me of Brewer in that they're both undersized, but they make the most of it with their athletic abilities that they gain from not having as many pounds. Parham is solid in pass blocking as well. He was 28th in PFF pass blocking grade, and as a whole, he was 17th for guards. So that is a very, very respectable ranking. He is really impressive too, in the sense that his first 2 years in the league were not overly impressive. And this year, he's one of the better guards, in the whole league. So he's really developed a ton in a short period of time. So it'll be interesting to see what he does moving forward if he can keep progressing. If not, you still got a good guard on your hands, Raiders. As for number four, we have Jacoby Myers. He is a very odd wide receiver, I would say. He was basically entirely a slot wide receiver in New England, and then he goes to the Raiders. I think he initially was playing a bit in the slot, but then he transitions to being a mostly outside guy, and he is like ridiculously good at it. When outside receiver is a harder position to play than the slot is, because in the slot you're not getting pressed as much. You can have, two-way routes where you can go inside or outside and just beat the corner based on leverage. It's really very strange that Myers has been so much better at outside than he was in the slot. It's not like he just entered his prime too. He's I want to say he's like late 20s now, like maybe 28 or so. He is, not like just, 25 and finally figured it out. No, he's, you know, closing in at like the midpoint of his prime. So honestly, I'm very impressed with him. He's 20th in yards per game and 19th in first downs. Those are the stats for all players. So it's not just wide receivers. It'd be impressive if it's just wide receivers as well, but it includes all players. So it's even more impressive. Myers, one of the underrated stories in the league. As for number three, we have Colton Miller, who is also kind of a bounce back story of sorts because he wasn't well received by a lot of people. I don't know how Raiders fans felt about him initially, but I know that the average fan and consensus drafts were not super high on Miller relative to where he was picked. Like, it was kind of thought of as a little bit of a reach. And, you know, he's gone on to show them what is what because he's 11th in pass blocking, a little bit worse as a run blocker. He's 27th in run blocking. And overall, though, he's 13th for offensive tackles, according to PFF. That's, like the exact mold of a tackle you want to have nowadays. Obviously, if you're building a tackle in the lab, you're making them perfect in run blocking and pass protection. But if you're going to specialize in one, be a better pass blocker, especially on the left side, where in recent years rather, it's been shown that it doesn't matter quite as much as we thought to be a left tackle versus a right tackle, but it's still helpful to protect the quarterback's blind side. As for number two, we have a very, very good story. I feel like everybody on this list is a good story somehow. And Jordan Meredith, he is 11th in PFF pass blocking, 9th in PFF run blocking, and 6th overall for guards. That is ridiculous all around because he was drafted in 2021 and he entered the league in 2021. He wasn't drafted. And this is his first year starting. He goes on, though, to be a top 10 guard in the league. I don't know, too many stories that are like that. If you go undrafted, no offense to him, you're probably, I think this is actually, impressive. He is likely to be not that athletic because, I don't know this to be fact, but if you go undrafted, you're probably, not the most athletic and you still need refinement. It's generally both. Because if you have one, someone might take a flyer on you in the 6th or even the 7th. They, will swing for athletic traits. He was not, well received in that regard. Nobody wanted him, or nobody wanted to draft him at least. And yet, he gets a chance and he goes on to be, again, a top 10 guard. That's really that's a movie type of season. As for number 1, though, not to, crush his dreams or whatever, but there is a guy that's better on the team. And he has not quite as dope of a story as Brock Bowers. I feel like you probably would have, expected that. Bowers hit the ground absolutely sprinting, not just running, sprinting. He was 3rd in yards per game for tight ends and 4th in yards per route run for tight ends. That goes to say he was good in conventional measures. He was good in advanced analytics. He's just really good. And what I love about him is he has everything at least to an above average level. He's a great route runner for a tight end. He's, he'd be a wide receiver in some formations. I wouldn't put him out there, full time, but he is a big slot. And he has great hands. He's a pretty good run blocker. He's a bit undersized. He's not, a huge, bulky tight end, at least not yet. And with that said, he's still a good blocker. And he's just so good after the catch. He looks like a really fast running back when he gets the ball in his hands. He is so elusive. He's so powerful. He'll run through you. He'll run around you. He'll juke you. He is capable of doing anything on a football field. I wouldn't rule him out from basically doing anything. And he, is just going to get better because he's going to get stronger and, he's going to refine his game with time. So it's scary to think that he's already the best player for the Raiders. I would say he's convincingly the best too. I think Meredith is great, but Bowers is just he's already on the George Kittle type of level, and he's a rookie. Those are my thoughts on the top 5 Raiders. Be sure to let me know what yours are in the comments section. Also, be sure to like and subscribe for more football content.